everyone, I'm Gnarly, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a bit of a deep dive into the brand new HALion 7.5 update from Steinberg. This is supposed to be one of the best plugins for sound design, sampling and synthesis. Super excited to try it out. I haven't had a go on it before, so thank you very much Steinberg for sending over the plugin along with sponsoring this video. There's a bunch of new features packed into the 7.5 update, including all the new stuff in the Spectral Zone, like snapshots, letting you create rich and evolving textures with samples. You can now use real-time decompose, which lets you split samples into transient, tonal and noise elements, so you can then adjust each of those separately. There's also MPE support, auto gain compression and a media bay which lets you access samples quickly. Today I'm going to be taking a closer look at that Spectral Zone, the new features, messing around with some samples. Let's start off with the Spectral Zone. One thing you'll notice when you're stretching samples, especially if you're going really slow with them, is that you might find you'll get some like artifacts or noise on the stretch sample which don't sound too great. With HALion 7.5 you can now use stuff like the phase feature to reduce those artifacts and preserve the quality of the audio when you're stretching samples. Basically, HALion analyzes what is tonal and what is noise in the sample, and then with this phase noise feature, any noise that it detects, it like modulates it so that it cancels out some of that noise. This allows HALion to give you better quality when you're manipulating samples. So let's try going really slow with it. I think it's a little bit cleaner on there. We can also adjust this phase noise, so I can actually turn this up if I want to, get rid of more artifacts. So you really hear it in that high end especially. Let's also try this with a drum sample. We're going to swap out the sample. Go into the model page. This is also new. So this is where we can split the sample according to tonal, noise, and we now have this decompose function. So you can actually do decompose on the old sample page, but this feature actually takes quite a lot of time to analyze and do all of the kind of different parameters that you might want to change. Whereas if you go into the zone and then into model and down here model type, you can select decompose. Here we can do all of those features and it does it all in real time. The idea here is that you can balance the noise, tonal and transient features of an individual sample. So let's hear here. We can really bring out that snare if we want to, so I'm just soloing the tonal part. Here we can also solo the noise part, so you hear that's all the crunchy stuff that's happening. We can adjust the sensitivity as well, which is like how much of the sample is coming through as well as the cutoff of it. I can add more noise into the sample, I can take it out. So if we want to get really crunchy sound, really nice for that. And it's really cool that we can solo those different elements so you can really hear what's going on in each part. Now with the transient again, we can really make it stick out with those accents if we want to, and you can adjust the gain of it as well as again the pitch of it. So it's really cool that we have these solo functions, so if you're adjusting parameters you can really hone in on what you want to adjust and really mess around with this sound. Now this comes in really handy if you've got a sample that maybe is quite noisy. So let's grab this sample which is going to be a like flute sample. You can hear that's quite noisy. Let's go back into that model page and here I've got decompose on, and let's say I want to cut out some of that noise. Crazy. That's pretty awesome. It can really save you a lot of time editing. Let's say I want to bring up the tonal part, and I'm going to adjust the sensitivity. And let's say those kind of hits that are like big transients, big dynamics, I want to lessen them. So I'm going to decrease the sensitivity and reduce the gain. Well, that's pretty incredible. There's so much control here to adjust sound design for your individual samples. Just taking that flute sample alone, being able to reduce the noise and maybe some of the dynamics as well so that it fits a little bit better is really, really powerful. I'm really impressed with it. If you're using samples that have a lot of noise on them, or maybe you've gone out and you're recording sounds outside where there's a lot of noise going on anyway, this is such a great feature to be able to isolate that and really shape the sample into the exact kind of sound that you want and preserve the quality of it as you're manipulating it. Let's also take a look at the snapshot feature. So let me swap this sample out again. I'm going to grab another kind of loop that I created for chopping it up. So that's the sample as normal. And then if I hit this now, it basically takes a snapshot within the sample and it just plays where you can see those markers hitting. We can really go in quite deep with this. This is great for if you want to create like cool sound design, glitchy type stuff. So if I sync this, I can sync this to my tempo. We can adjust the parameter, like where it's taking those snapshots. So I can make it slower. Can make faster snapshots. So that's almost the same, kind of giving it a bit of a stuttery effect. We can really drag it out. And now you're getting into that kind of like crazy sound design for film and TV type stuff. You can also adjust the auto gain here. And I could change this even to random instead. So let's put this back to like quarter. So now instead of playing in sequence, it's doing it at random. I can even freeze these. So it's just playing that one where I've hit the freeze button. Let's say I want to add in different pitches in here. Can adjust the tuning of stuff. We can add in filters. I can also add in effects in here if I want to. I can add in like LFOs. We can add in multiple different ones if we want. I can add in some like noise. There's really a lot of different parameters you can play around with. I've never really seen it so accessible within a plugin to be able to manipulate the sound design so easily. And I think that's what's great about HALion 7.5 is that it lets you manipulate all these sounds really easily. And you can really see all the different parameters and exactly how it's affecting the sample. We can actually play these polyphonically as well as across the keys. And it's really nice to be able to actually play these sounds rather than just having them kind of playing in the background while you adjust stuff. So overall, HALion 7.5 is great if you want to go super deep with sound design. I barely scratched the surface today. I was looking just at the Spectral Synth and, you know, the Spectral Zones and being able to adjust those parameters. But I know there's also like a wavetable synth, there's FM synths, you can make grain synths. There's so much packed into this one plugin, and it's actually pretty easy to navigate. I love when software is intuitive. It felt like I could navigate and you could really see what you were doing to affect the sample itself, which was great. I think the Spectral Zone and Decompose features were definitely my favorite today. You know, being able to take the noise out of that flute sample is super useful. There's been so many times where I've had a sample and there's been, you know, loads of noise or artifacts on it, and to remove that noise I would have to use a bunch of different plugins. And then sometimes, you know, you put that noise remover on and it takes out too much of the tonal quality. So it's really cool that you can solo those different elements and really hear what you're doing to the sample and be able to adjust those individually. It's also going to be great if you like to take samples and turn them into something completely different, especially if you're doing more of that kind of glitchy wall of sound stuff with that snapshot feature. There's really so much you can do to manipulate a sound, you know, even using the effects, being able to stretch stuff, as well as controlling parameters using the LFOs. So if you want a plugin where you can go really under the hood and manipulate sound and be able to preserve the audio quality of the sounds that you are manipulating, HALion 7.5 is going to be the plugin for you. Thanks so much to Steinberg for sending over HALion. I had so much fun exploring it today. I think it's definitely going to become a part of my workflow going forwards. And thanks to you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the session. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And until the next time, happy practicing.